let's go ahead and talk about interpreting rate of change. T-Mobile's one family plan includes 4 lines, unlimited calls, texts, and data for $160 a month. That includes fees. There is an activation fee of $80. So what we need to do is write the variable and write a function that would represent this situation. So we're going to use, let's use M for month. And C for cost. So C, cost of the month equals, or we could also just honestly say f of x. It's the same thing. We have to spend $80 to activate the line and $160 per month. $80 to activate plus 160 x. Same thing, just different letters. Now we need to graph. Down here, I'm going to say this is month. Over here, this is going to be money. Obviously, 0, row count by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll go up by 50s, 40s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We can go up by 40s. 40, 80, 120, 160, 220, 24, 28, 32, 36, 400, and 440. So we said we have to pay $80, and that's even if we haven't even had the phone service yet. Now, what happens if I'm at 1 month? So I'm going to rewrite the equation over here. This is 80 plus 160x. Well, we said if we plug in 0, we would have 80 plus 160 times 0. So that goes away and we're left with 80. If we did 80 plus 160 times 1, we end up with 160 plus 80, and that's going to give us 240. So at 1 month, we've spent $240. What happens at month 2? 80 plus 160 times 2. 80 plus 160 times 2 is going to give us 400. So at 2 months, we will have spent $400. And now that we have enough points, we can go ahead and put that nice line down. Now this time we're not starting at 0, we're starting at 80. And our graph would look something like that. What is the slope of the line? The slope, I'm going to go, I missed that dot, but we know it's going to be from here, and it's supposed to be here. So it's going to be over 1 and up how many? Up 40. What I'm going to actually do is do 240 minus 80 instead of counting. Counting is not my strong suit. So 240 minus 80, we go, I did divide. 240 minus 80, we're going to go up 160, which we knew that because this is our slope. So our slope is going to be, we could say, $160 divided by 1 month, or we could say $160 per month. And what does that mean? That means that every month I am paying $160. Every month costs $160. When does the line intersect the y-axis? And what does that mean? We intersect y at 80, which means that I have to pay $80 no matter how many months we use. It represents, in this case, it represents the turn-on fee or the activation fee. The y value of the point on the graph that intersects the y-axis is the y-intercept. So this is called the y-intercept. You have $250 to spend over the summer, and you decide to budget it for $25 a week. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go with f of x equals 250 minus 25 per week. So I'm going to change my x to week. And I can rewrite this as well for those of us that like to use x. So now again, we need to graph. X is our week. So it's a constant. So down here, this is week. And this is going to be money. And again, we can go by 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And in the center would be our even numbers. I need to go all the way up to probably 250. So what should we count by? Let's count by 25s because it's going to go down by 25s. So this would be 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, 225, 250, 275. So that's my money. At 0 weeks, how much money am I going to have? I'm going to have all $250 because that would be 25 times 0. That cancels out. So at week 0, we start at 250. At week 1, we're going to do 250 minus 25 times 1. So 250 minus 25 is going to give me 225. Let's skip to week 5. See what happens there. We would do 250 minus 25 times 5. 250 minus 25 times 5. That gives me 50. So at week 5, I only have $50 left. And now that we have enough points, I'm going to draw it in a different color. We can go ahead and sketch our line. It's going to look something well, it should look something like that. Ours isn't perfect. That's okay. Let's make sure I did week 5 right. 250 minus 25 times 5. That's why it's not 50. It's 125. I'm just really bad at math today. So at week 5, we should be here. My fault. So let's try this graph again. That's why we always like to use 3 points, because if they don't all line up relatively close, then it's obvious that we screwed something up. So the slope of the line is over 1 week and down 25. So it's going to be minus $25 per 1 week, or the slope is going to be minus 25, which means we lose $25 a week. We could also say spend Now, the difference between this first one, between these two, is there's a big one, and it's the fact that one goes down and one goes up. Graph 1 goes up, which means it's positive. Graph 2 goes down, which means it's negative. So graph 1, we are gaining something. Graph 2, we are losing something. And the next question asks, what is the y-intercept? Our y-intercept is 250. That's where the line crosses. And what does that mean? That's our starting point. So that means we are starting with $250. So let's go ahead and scroll down here. Consider the 3 functions that you wrote regarding the self-em plan, summer habits, and community pool membership. What did you notice about the constant term and the coefficient of the x? The constant term was our y-intercept. The coefficient of x was the slope or rate of change so let's reference back up here. What that says is this number tells me where my graph starts. So in this case, it starts at 250. This number tells me how much I go down by every time. With all of that saying in mind, slope-intercept form, which is something that you guys all remember, y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b is our slope-intercept form. That's how we graph a line. So if I were to look at this one, first thing I want to do is rewrite this. Actually, I like it this way, mx plus b. So the one that has nothing, this tells me my y-intercept, which means I'm just going to go straight up 1, 2, 3. This tells me my slope. And we know slope is y divided by x, which means this one would be 2 over 1. So I'm going to go up 2 and over 1. I can also go down 2 and over 1 to give me those 3 lines. And I just think if this is positive 2, if it's plus 2, I have to be walking up the hill. So now if I were to graph this, it would look something like that. Consider this equation. How does it look different from slope-intercept form? Notice it's not solved for y. So if we were to rewrite it, we want y equals mx plus b, which means I need to get y by itself. So let's go ahead and rewrite the equation. First thing I want to do is move that 2x. So I'll have 5y equals 10 minus 2x. Now I need to divide my 5 away. And I'm left with y equals 2 minus 2/5 x. And we want x first. So that means that y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. Slope is the one next to x, so that's negative 2/3. And our y-intercept is the random number by itself, so 2, meaning I'm going to go straight up to 2 and put a dot. Now this one says go, remember, y over x So 2 divided by 3, -2, meaning I need to go down 2, but still keep a positive 1, 2, 3. And I know that because my slope is negative, so I want to walk down the hill. And I can do it again. Down 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. So now when I graph it, it's going to look something like that.